This harsh lighting in my shop is not great for making videos, but a professional lighting setup can cost hundreds of dollars. And if there's one theme to this channel, it's sinking time into DIY projects in an attempt to save a few bucks. So today, we're going to 3D print and build a DIY lighting setup to go from this to this, all for less than I've made from YouTube, which at the time of filming is $60.43. After extensive research on how other YouTubers do lighting, I discovered that apparently I need 3 ingredients to make this work. A key light, which is a big light that usually has a softbox attached to it, a fill light, which you aim from the opposite direction, and some accent lighting for that trendy look. Let's start by building the key light. A decent 100 watt studio key light is currently about $160 on Amazon. I'm going to build one for less than $50. 5 years ago when I moved to the Pacific Northwest, the weather was so dark and dreadful that I bought this 100 watt COB LED with the intention of building an artificial sunlight. That project ended up in the drawer of abandoned projects, and instead I resorted to what the locals do and began mainlining Kirkland brand vitamin D. I don't remember how much I paid for it, but similar COB LEDs can easily be found for under $10. If you want the high CRI number though, which I've been told is important, they're a bit more expensive. But I had this one already, so I'm not counting it towards the budget. The bad reviews you sometimes see associated with LEDs like this are normally because people don't realize that high wattage LEDs require extra cooling. They sell actual LED coolers for these chips, but I had an older leftover CPU cooler laying around, and it's actually a really nice quality one with a very quiet fan. Any old CPU cooler should work, as most CPUs produce more heat than this LED chip. You can rip one out of an old computer or find them on eBay for like $5. This particular LED needs between 36 and 38 volts DC to power it, and for that we're going to need a power supply. 5 years ago I tested this LED with this variable power supply, but this thing is way too big and heavy for my design. So I found this smaller 36 volt 5 amp power supply for only 17 bucks. 5 amps at 36 volts is 180 watts, which gives me plenty of headroom for the 100 watt LED. High powered LEDs like this need one more thing, a constant current driver. This keeps the current provided to the LED steady, which is important for the lifespan of the LED. I dug around my drawer and I found this boost converter that has a constant current option. Surprisingly, these boards are only like $2 or even less. It seems to work fine, and I've been using it for a while now with no issue. But time will tell how it holds up. To power the fan on the CPU cooler, we need 12 volts, not 36. But thankfully, I have a few of these cheapo DC to DC converters in my warehouse. Drawer. This converter tops out at 40 volts, so we should be good here. I also added this potentiometer fan controller, but I later replaced it with this temperature controlled one I found on AliExpress. The last step is this power plug. I got a 3-pack from Amazon for $10, so I'll have a few extra for future projects. Once I had all the ingredients, I opened up Fusion 360 and designed an enclosure. Key lights need a softbox attached to them, which thankfully uses a standard mount called a Bowens mount. I found the mount specs and designed this adapter ring. I'm relatively certain this is the world's only AMD AM4 to Bowens mount adapter. The Bowens adapter will attach with screws directly into the fan mount on the other side, sandwiching the LED securely in place. I added a ton of ventilation holes near the CPU cooler. The inner body is designed to hold the power components and slide into the frame, giving it a clean look and easy assembly. 4 heatset inserts attach the inner frame from the outer frame. I managed to design the whole thing with only a tiny bit of support needed on the adapter. These files will be available in the description in case you want to build one too. I also added space for square M8 nuts that we'll use to attach the mounting bracket later on. The square nuts were suggested by a commenter in a previous video and they work great, and it's also way easier to model a square. I printed it all out with Polymaker high temp glass fiber PLA because I want this to be strong and stand up to the heat of the LED. Assembly begins with adding the heatset inserts into the frames and attaching the power supply cable. I glued in the M8 square nuts. They'll be held on by the bolt, so the glue is just to keep it there from falling out during assembly. Before I can mount the components, I first need to set the voltages using the little potentiometers with itty bitty flathead screwdrivers. The voltage was 37 volts, so I left it at that, and then I just adjusted the current to 2.5 amps. 2.5 times 37 is 92.5, which is the wattage that the LED will run at. It's slightly less than 100 it's rated for, but it's plenty bright, so I'm leaving it there. The power supply has 2 outputs, so I can use the second one for the fan voltage converter, and I adjust the voltage the same way, down to 12 volts. Then I solder on some leads to go to the fan controller. I adjusted the fan to where it was barely audible. Next, it's time to mount everything in the inner frame. That's when I rediscovered that I'm not a professional, and my design was nearly impossible to assemble. These screws in the back were not accessible at all, but after 20 minutes of struggling with miniature screwdrivers and tweezers, I was able to get it together. For the fan components, I just use hot glue to secure them for now because I plan to replace them later with a temperature controlled fan. The last step before I can close it up is to connect the LED driver using some Wagos. Wagos are usually used for AC power, but I'm pretty sure they'll be fine for 2.5 amps DC. In Wago I trust. One final test, and it's satisfyingly slid into place. To attach the bracket, I printed these grippy knobs from Practical 3D from MakerWorld. And what a nice print. That worked great. I used lime green to use up some old filament and add a little pop of color. And with that, the body is done. The next step is to make a bracket by cutting and bending some aluminum flat stock from the hardware store. Unfortunately, at this point, I managed to cut my finger pretty badly. I was too lazy to set up my bandsaw and ended up using the wrong tool, which resulted in one of the dumbest injuries I've ever had. I'm okay, everything's still attached, but I needed some stitches and an x-ray. If you're not familiar with the American healthcare system, 8 stitches in an ER cost $9,000. If I were a smarter YouTuber, I would have used this incident for clickbait. Thankfully, I have insurance, so I only had to pay $2,400 out of pocket. Double thankfully, because I engage in the potentially dangerous pastime called playing ice hockey in my 40s, I also had purchased supplementary accident insurance, which also covers being an idiot with power tools. So unlike my finger, the budget is intact. Anyway, after that demotivating incident, I decided to just use Send Cut Send to make the bracket. Yeah, it's $19 off the budget versus the $3 for a piece of flat stock, but it's well worth it in the end, and they even tapped the hole for me. The hole in the bracket has a 1/4 thread that's used on standard tripods. That's how we'll mount this thing later. In total, the light cost me $43 to build, with nearly half of that being the bracket. But if I didn't already have the LED, driver, and cooler, it would have cost me another $20 or so. Next up is the softbox. I'm not quite arts and crafty enough to make one, so I bought this one from Newer, and at $70, it doesn't fit in the budget. But I forgot to tell you about my affiliate income, which was another $89.01. So with that loophole out of the way, we're still in the black. To get this set up at the correct height, you also need a light stand. But even with my affiliate income, it's not in the budget. But I have another crafty solution for that too. I'm just going to steal my wife's tripod. This thing was definitely not meant to hold the weight, so I don't recommend doing this. After setting it up though, it's looking pretty legit. Next up, we need a fill light, and for that I'm going to use this 3D printed Makita powered light I made in a previous video. Check the link in the corner for that video if you're into that kind of thing. And then all that's left is an accent light. And a lot of YouTubers use these expensive stick lights. $270 for a stick with LEDs? I'm just going to use some leftover RGB strip from the drawer of abandoned dreams. The accent lighting won't look good on this ugly background, so I attacked my shop with some paint I found when I moved in here. This exterior paint is definitely not the right paint for the job, but these cabinets are junk and my goal is just to make them disappear. I didn't even do any prep work, except a quick wipe down and removal of some random screws. I didn't even bother to take the doors off. Good from far, far from good is good enough. The paint color is called limousine leather, so I'm pretty sure it's high end. To hide the RGB strip and angle it towards my background, I designed and printed this little profile that will screw into the bottom of the cabinets. I attached the profile with some drywall screws, pre-drilling to avoid splitting the wood, and then I secured the LED strip to the profile using some 3M heavy-duty double-sided tape. The strip itself has some adhesive, but it's terrible and kept falling off. The 3M stuff just works. I flashed an ESP32 from my drawer full of ESP32s with the wonderful and free WLED software to control the strip. And this is how it turned out. What do you think? Is it too, YouTuber-y? Do I need to start an energy drink company? Anyway, don't worry, I'm not going to start doing a whole bunch of talking head videos. It's just honestly a lot easier to edit when you have some talking footage to go to, rather than having to fill in every single little gap. So yeah, if you appreciate builds like this, I have a lot more coming, so make sure to... What's that? Pizza's here? Gotta go.